Hello everyone, I'm Andrew Can, and if I can, you can too. I am very happy to be streaming. Thank you so much, Neil Crypto Cruising, for helping me out with the audio problem we just had. We are going to be going over something that I think is very important for YouTube, and that is to not only make you searchable, but also compelling. And one of the biggest takeaways I just had for VidCon US was focusing on not only the search, but the compelling element. I got to speak to someone who worked at Search, and that was mind-opening and mind-boggling. I went to say eye-opening and mind-boggling, but you know what? Mistakes happen. In the meantime, welcome Midnight Madness, welcome Paul, welcome Leela. Happy to have everyone. So that being said, when it comes to YouTube search, it's very important that you are not only searchable but compelling. But when I'm doing things and I need help in search, I go over to TubeBuddy. If you are unaware, TubeBuddy is the #1 rated browser extension. Highly recommended to help you do research. And full disclosure, I do work for TubeBuddy. However, I highly recommend it. You can get it at tubebuddy.com/can today, absolutely for free to try. And if you'd like to get the paid version, there's Andrew's Buddy in the description down below, so you can get that paid version. That being said, welcome RPM Nexus, welcome Greenbox, welcome Zavi, Mike Van Doozy, welcome Vigard. TubeBuddy, never heard of him, Vigard says. You know, it's a little indie startup company, but more importantly, they're the reason I was at VidCon. So at VidCon, the person in search who I spoke with, essentially I was asking a lot of questions. The first question I asked, and I think many people will be interested in hearing this, is do tags matter? And what she told me was twofold. One, in simple terms, yes, tags still matter. If they didn't, they would not have kept them moving forward. And so my first sigh of relief was had. I always knew tags still mattered. Hearing it from people who work on the actual part that dictates how videos are served in that matter is great. However, she also told me this. Creators oftentimes, and more recently, have put every single hope on their video success in tags, and that was never what they're designed to do. So tags matter. They're always going to be relevant. Do they matter as much as they used to? No. But here's why. We always were told no. Here's the why. Tags are only as good as your title. If your title is not only searchable, but also needs to be compelling, tags can't save it. Also, if your title doesn't accurately represent what the video is about, tags can't save it. People put so much weight in tags, and they're great and they matter. However, are your videos good? Are they compelling? Same with your title. That's some things I want to talk to you about today. So, seeing a lot of people here. Welcome, Modern Day Tech. Great to have you here. Mike Van Doozy says, great to know. Thanks for that. All the good streams are always at night, Vigard. You know, for me, it's 3:03 p.m., so it's kind of hard to balance work and this, but you know, I thought it was something that was very good to know. Because when she told me that, the first thing I thought of, any success I've had on this channel can always come down to not only being searchable, but also compelling. So this is something I wanted to show using my own channel. And then when we go into the channel reviews, I want to kind of show you all some compelling things you can do. So people are saying late stream. You know, for me it's 3 p.m., but that's the difference between LA and wherever you are watching from. LA time is the worst time for streams for me. Yeah, but you know, I do appreciate you all the same for joining me. So one thing I wanted to really showcase, and I'm going to do this on the channel, is I want to show how anytime I found success on the channel, it was always because it was searchable, but also compelling. And when I failed to do one or the other, it seems to kind of reflect that. Now, that's not to say that just by being compelling, you're going to shoot up in the search. And that's not just by saying just because you're searchable, you're going to be compelled, you're going to compel a user to watch the video. There's a lot more nuances than that. But it is to say, these are some things we can observe and things to think about in your next video. However, the person in YouTube search told me, put the searchable element first and forefront in your video. And then, after that, make it compelling for a user to watch and click. So those are some things just to kind of keep in mind. I don't want any confusion, but if you have questions, feel free to ask them. We are going to transition on over to the channel. You can see we are live, 14 people watching as of this time. Thank you. I'm not sure the live numbers, I do appreciate the 14 that came out. I see David 3000 says I added a channel trailer. Awesome. Excited to see that. So, as we go to the videos, the first thing I want to do is sort by most popular. And the reason I'm going to be sorting by our most popular videos is because I want to see if those elements of searchability with compelling are there to be had. Now, some of these are films and they don't operate in the same kind of way others do, but they are things I could possibly think of to help my films do a little bit better within the search. So as we transition back, I want to know, Leela says, love the banner. Thank you. Working on getting that fixed up even more, so I appreciate that. However, here's the thing. As we transition back, you should be able to see how not only they're searchable, but also compelling. So, this one, how I got verified on YouTube, how to get verified. This answers, the searchable thing is how I got verified on YouTube. As you can see, maybe not so easily there, but shows 480 subs in the thumbnail. It's a little bit bigger on mobile and desktop, but it's the question is how I got verified, and then it answers how to get verified. So, the searchable bit was how I got verified, and then the compelling part was how to get verified. Searchable bit here is install acoustic foam fast. So the install acoustic foam is also the searchable bit, but then the compelling bit is the fast and without damaging your wall. The one here, and I guess this film might be it, this one's actually super searchable, and a lot of people search up paying back my ex. However, all the ones here, this is a great kind of example of clickbait versus click worthy, whereas every time people search for paying back my ex, I looked there and it was all these things where people were like being mean to their ex. But mine is, in all actuality, I physically am paying back my ex money. So I thought it'd be interesting to kind of go after that. And sure enough, not only did it do well, it ranks high there. And the reason for that is people were searching for paying back my ex, and I subverted them and I compelled them by asking the question, would you pay back your ex? Then these are some more films. What does it mean to be a man? This is for the My Road reel. This one was for some short film competitions. And this one, the searchable element is Sphero Ultimate Lightning McQueen in Disneyland Cars Land. The in Disneyland Cars Land is what makes this unique compared to others of it. It did really well in search, and also the compelling is just kind of the focus there. As we look through, motivational short film, maybe could have called this something better. Walk Through the Fire. Fire was a huge part of this. This one, Social Blue Book tutorial, how to find your value. So this is the searchable bit, how to find your value, YouTube Creator Studio Beta, in-depth first look. This one was just timed well. The thing that is compelling here is free. So Elgato Camlink 4K, how to live stream from a DSLR. So this is tackling people looking for Camlink 4K tutorials and also how to live stream from a DSLR. So as you see, as the views go down and down, and as we go here, more and more, I got more compelling compared to when we started, or compared to the streams that are here. So 5 tips to bring value as a speaker, interview with Owen Video. So searchable bits there, but interview with Owen Video. If you don't know Owen Video, there's nothing to compel you to click, right? Juke Deck, royalty-free music created by an AI, cool. But the problem is, there's nothing to compel you if you're looking for VidCon content. So first time in Disneyland, great, but besides myself, not a lot of people would be searching for that. And the compelling thing is, for me, it's super compelling, but if you're watching, maybe not so much. So it's finding that with the successes I had, that almost all of them had a compelling reason to click. So it's not enough just to be searchable, but you also have to be compelling, and this can be in your title and thumbnail. So that's where the combination comes in, and that's when we look at click-through rate, the value that YouTube is putting there. Again, from going forward, one thing I'm going to be talking a little bit more about is not only being searchable, but being compelling. Because it's one thing to show up in search, but if you show up in search, it doesn't matter if people aren't compelled to click and watch your content. So are you not only being searchable, but compelling? So I'm going to ask that question to you either watching live or in the replay. Do you think you're both searchable and compelling? Because I was falling victim to being just searchable, but I forgot. You also have to be compelling. So Gear Vlogs is here. Hey, Terry Wade Thompson, good evening. Oh, great. My internet is cutting out. Well, hopefully that is your internet and hopefully the stream quality, but it wouldn't be the first time I've broken YouTube. Having a lot more people joining in today. Need work on both, said Gear Vlog. And again, it's something that I've been working on myself. It's something that I feel is easy to say, but hard to master. Search, I feel, is super easy. Like, I know the data points, but to compel someone to click, that's the hard part. I think my thumbnails are more compelling than I am searchable. Then, Lilo, what I would say to that is maybe focus a little bit more on the research in the search. So, that being said, let's do some channel reviews. Today we're going to be focusing on your most popular videos and seeing are there a searchable and compelling element, and then maybe a little more in-depth on a specific video. But of course, as always, super chats take the priority when it comes to channel reviews. So as we go here, I'm just really excited because knowing this information, getting that verification a little bit more from YouTube really did well. So Rock Tuition says, hello. Black Recruit says, what is a great video editor to use for free? DaVinci Resolve. Or if you want a very simple one that you can use on both your phone and a desktop, you get 3 free edits with Adobe Premiere Rush. And then there's Hit Film. There's a lot of stuff that is out there for free. Paul's apparently blushing over Terry Wade Thompson. So, hello. That is high honors if Paul is blushing. So, yes. Hopefully that answers your question there. Of course, the channel reviews are open to anyone. Great info, says Paul Peck. Thank you. I try to go to these events, and one thing I do especially is if I get the opportunity, and I have to thank my friend Aaron, who introduced me and texted me that someone from YouTube Search was in a room talking to creators. When he told me that, I remember exactly where I was. I was at the TubeBuddy booth, and I bolted. I didn't give much of an explanation, so it looked like I was probably a crazy person. If you saw me running at VidCon, I promise you everything was fine. But when you get such a good information boost, something where you can ask someone who's working on the thing you use every day a question or multiple questions, it ended up being so well that when I saw her the next day by chance, she remembered me because my questions were very high level. I had a lot of questions for her because, well, if you get a chance to ask good questions, you might get some good answers. I'm back for some reason. I got switched to my non-brand channel. I think that's Elfian N who says, hello, Can. Hello, how are you? Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correct. Vigard, probably not so compelling, but I hope I are getting better at search. I'm very hung up on the search at the moment. So Vigard, we are going to check out your channel. Thank you so much for the super chat. To me, you're very compelling. At Vid Summit, we are going to do our shootout. Vigard, amazing channel. If you are already not subscribed, please go subscribe to Up Just Your Filmmaking. So, we are going to transition. I did miss a spell with a hello. Hello, Arthur Moorhead. Howzy, Andrew Can. Hiya, Paul Peck. So, from Vigard. Films, tutorials, inspiration. Awesome. Immediately, you get a very good look and a very well-designed banner that tells you films, tutorials, inspiration. If I'm getting nitpicky, maybe when you go live, but again, I get you're going for an aesthetic design. I like the create and inspire found here. I like this a lot. It looks very good. I see amazing channels featured here. Great storytellers all. Welcome, Dimmy. Great to see you as well. Like the V here. So you asked in your super chat, probably not compelling, but I hope I'm getting better at search. I'm very hung up at search at the moment. So how to create a clean minimalist title animation. How to blur a face in Premiere Pro. And then we have some videos. So since these are your recent uploads, I'm going to focus on your last two. So how to blur a face in Premiere Pro. Let's go ahead and take a look at this on a level. The first thing I like is how you immediately show the effect. So as we are going to take a look here at search, how to blur a face in Premiere Pro. This has a couple of days on it. It has 6 days to be exact. So you're probably, if you haven't already, lost the news. So there's about 74,000 search results in general. And looking here, you rank number 23, so that, or actually compared to since when I'm here, you may have gone down just a bit even then, because I just watched the video. You have to remember all these fun things. So the first thing I would say when looking Vigard, and this is something to keep in mind, how to easily blur moving objects in Premiere Pro. So you have how to blur a face in Premiere Pro, which is super searchable, but already compared to your competition, there are some other things that may be more compelling. How to blur a face. This one is a great example of just a search. How to blur a face in Adobe Premiere Pro, super searchable. How to blur moving faces and distort audio to hide identity. Blur a face using Premiere Pro. So the one thing I'm seeing is most of these all look the same, right? And when you're comparing yourself to things that all look the same, it becomes a little more difficult. Hello, Tiffany and Vigard saying I did rank better some days ago. And this goes back into, and I mentioned this, you may have had the new tag, which is literally YouTube saying, here's a new, more relevant piece of content. Remember, when you lose that new tag, you lose those higher search rankings you first had. So then it kind of relies heavily on your metadata. So when talking to the people in search, the new tag has been completely for newer creators who need that boost in helping them not only in search, but suggested and things like that. So you have to remember, right? If we're looking here, I would say how to blur a face in Premiere Pro. You have hide identity in your thumbnail, but not here. So when it comes to this exact match, you have it, but how to blur a face in Premiere Pro, how to blur a face to hide an identity. I can't spell, but you know what? It will fix it for you. Identity, Premiere Pro. Maybe too specific, but it may help you stand out a little bit more. It's very specific, but even there, you rank number 24, right? And Tutvid is going to be, as I see here, owns the #1 spot. How to blur moving faces. So, like, the compelling bit is actually in your thumbnail, but it's not necessarily in your title. Harry Wade Thompson, I know we can add thumbnails in TubeBuddy, and there are some really good templates out there. Take more pictures of this. What would you recommend for thumbnails, as I've seen good ones? So that's a great question, Terry Wade, as we look here. So what I would say, and I do see your question just 8-8. So I'm going to first use, this is a great example of thumbnails templates, right? So it's all going to be based on the content you create. So here, Vigard actually has really great branding, but he shows up kind of low here. What I would say is when it comes to how to blur faces in Premiere Pro, hide identity is super compelling, but I don't see it here. I see it here, but most of what I want to see is already kind of taken here. Comparatively, Vigard, you have to remember, just looking at this, right? Like how to blur something in Adobe Premiere, how to blur logos or anything else. What are you going to do? This one is super compelling because it shows blur moving objects, how to easily blur moving objects in Premiere Pro. So this is your biggest competition. One thing that Colin is doing well here is he's splitting it, right? And so you can see the effect, and then you can see a face. You see Premiere very clearly, and because he's in it, he doesn't have to compete with his own logo. This one is also from Adobe Masters, is super compelling because you can immediately see the editing software. You can see this. The blur of face I might actually make a little different, but it's obviously doing decently well in search. Tube Techie says, sup you guys, hello, how's it going? I also need to figure out how to categorize my videos. Are they just a playlist or am I missing something? Terry Wade, if you'd like, I could do a channel review a little bit later, and that could maybe give you some solace based on what I see there. Just 8-8, do you need to retag your videos over time? The only way I'd recommend retagging your videos is if you've, one, tagged them badly in your past and they're no longer getting you views. So that means like maybe you have a video from a year or two ago that is not getting any views. It's been a couple months since it's gotten views. And I want you to really analyze and look at it and go, is this video, one, searchable? Or two, was this just a video I made for myself and there's really not that much search? Because if you try to shoehorn in SEO, it usually never works. It's always better if you're going to be doing something like how to blur a face in Premiere Pro is to find other ways. And so the searchable bit is how to blur a face in Premiere Pro here for Vigard. he had a compelling element, but it was only in the thumbnail, right? So how to blur a face in Premiere Pro quickly, because this video is in under 5 minutes, right? So that's a great example of the way he could be compelling, because fast was one, but quickly. Okay, you're going to save me time. Quick. I'm more compelled than just how to blur a face. So to your question, do we need to retag videos over time? Only if they didn't perform well in the initial run, and maybe it was due to bad SEO. And check your click-through rate. Check if any views came from search, because I guarantee you, sometimes people have great videos that they didn't optimize well, that are held down due to bad optimization, bad thumbnail, and maybe even a bad title. So it's always kind of up to you to check out how it's performing. Welcome, Star UK Star TV. Regard for this topic, it's competitive. a lot of huge tutorial channels. And Vigard, that is a fair point. However, if I'm YouTube, I see that this is optimized. You do a great job in the optimization, but YouTube's following the audience, which is why that compelling element being missing here. How to blur a face maybe quickly in Premiere Pro, and then dash hide identities to not get sued would be way more compelling. Whoa, not get sued. Immediately I gotta know, because Vigard has something I need, right? That's something I keep in mind, because as it is super searchable, but is it compelling to a user to click? Maybe not. Welcome, Hybrid Steel. Great to see you. Leela, or is it Lila? Leela? I'm always confused when I see that name. But hopefully that can help you a little bit there, because what I'm seeing is definitely searchable, but where's that compelling element? So 5 glitch transition presets for Premiere Pro. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat, Paul Peck. You say, and I quote, I donate the channel review to Crypto Cruising. Neil, I will take a look at your channel right after Vigard. And pull it up. Put that up in another tab as take a look at Vigard foremost. So as we go back to Vigard, like here, the 5 glitch transition presets for Premiere Pro. Well, if I'm looking for glitch transitions and seeing that you have this, like this is searchable. What if I only need 1? You're giving me 5, so you're giving me options. So the compelling thing is the glitch transition presets are the searchable bit. But you've compelled me because you're not only giving me 1 choice, you're giving me 5. Another thing here is how to create a clean minimalist title animation. So I know Nick Nimmin shared this out, so that could be one of the reasons you are getting a little more view boost. But with that, I want to take a look at your SEO. So Minimalist, that actually is helping you. Minimalist title animation. You teach me how, but I'm assuming that you're doing this, like, unless it's a preset, I will show you how to animate in Smooth Cinematic so you can apply this. How to create a minimalist title animation in Premiere Pro for free. Again, there's so many things you can do, Vigard, to add to that compelling nature, because you do have not only you have the content, but you don't necessarily have that compelling. And that's something that could be holding you back, because you are showing up in search, but now when it comes to not only showing up in search, what are your click-through rate? What are you doing to make someone compel if you're doing this for free? If it's not a preset. All right, we are in another bidding war between Paul Peck and Neo Crypto Cruising, who are donating they're donating channel reviews for one another. So we will get to both of you. However, now Paul Peck is first. So Paul, the ball's in your court for channel review. And thank you, Neil, so much for the super chat. So I'm just pulling you both up. At this point, I should just have you both ready in a new tab, just so I'm prepared at this point. But it's okay. We're learning. We're having fun. Thank you so much, Neil, for the super. A battle of who has the most money, says Hybrid Steel. Hard Knocks TV says that's funny. Just 88 says that's y'all are awesome. Could not disagree more. So again, it's not a preset, but I'm assuming since you're showing people how to do this, it would be for free, right? So this is a way they can do it for free. So that's something you also need to keep in mind when it comes to these things, Vigard. Because right now, I'm seeing the searchable element, but maybe it's that lack of compellingness. And you also have to check your thumbnail click-through rate, because guess what? When it comes to CTR, it's not just thumbnail, it is also title. That's two important things. So don't forget the compelling part, because how to create a clean minimalist title animation in Premiere Pro, done. How to create a clean minimalist title animation in Premiere Pro for free. Oh, for free, you say? I love the way this looks. I can learn how to do this more so. And then you got to compel them to come back, right? And you're like, and if you want to learn how to do other things like this in Premiere Pro, click that subscribe button. Immediately compels them to come back. So it's one of those things that you have to think about. Hybrid Seal says you don't get into the YouTube space easier by just having 1K subs. Well, actually, if you're a nonprofit, at least in the one in LA, you can get in, but you have to prove that with nonprofit standings and taxes. But not sure if it's the same in the UK. It's either hit or miss with my CTR. So Vigard, I would challenge you to see if adding some new, more clickable things, more compelling things to a user would do any good, because I know your content's good, but are you compelling? Because that might be what's holding you back. And not being compelling is definitely something that might be holding a lot of you back. But Vigard, I mean, I know your content is strong. I know that you're crushing it when it comes to this. I know you talk to Nick Nimmin a lot, but I would ask Nick as well. I would say, you talk about the inspiration. I'm going to need to inspire you to come up with some compelling things. Can you do a video how to upload videos longer than 15 minutes faster? That's kind of dependent on internet speed, so it's one of those things that's hard to teach, because it's going to be so different for everyone to learn that. Is it an actual place or online? The YouTube space is an actual place, and there was one in LA, there's one in New York, there's one in, I believe, London. So yeah, they're actual real places. Now, if you're talking about his banner, then as Crypto Cruising aka says, is so. That being said, I guess we will look at Paul, because he got the more recent of the super chat battle. So Vigard, I give your channel, if I'm going based on a compelling element, I would say you have some accidental hits, but hey, so do I. I'd probably give you a very solid B-, because if knowing these things and knowing that your CTR is there, that's something I would work on. And I'm going to say compelling more. So if you don't like that word, well, I compel you to leave. No, I'm joking. Please don't leave. But more serious, it is something that repetition causes memorization. So that's why I will be saying it. YouTube has not sent me the code yet. That's why I meant to say, oh, you're talking about not getting the text code. Have you reached out to YouTube support either on Twitter or on email? Because again, that's one of those things where I can only do so much. I can give you to the forum to do it, but those are things that it's a certain point where it's out of my control, so it's hard to teach. Looking at Paul Peck, and by the way, I did not ask or pay Nick to share my video the other day. Vigard, I never once said that, but now you're on the offense, so I'm like, how much did you really pay Nick Nimmin? Now joking. The power of can compels you, says Hard Knocks Television. I see them a bit as a clique, not really bothered about going to a special place to go hang out with other YouTubers. So, David, it's literally youtube.com/verify. Hybrid, the best thing I can say about that is a lot of the times the space have things that teach you things about YouTube search, at least the one here in LA. I don't really go for the other people. I more go for like the teaching sessions they do here. So I would say really see what's on like their docket as things there. So that's what I'd say there. So, looking here, Paul Peck, popular uploads, DIY, how to knock down texture with texture sponge. So the compelling element is you can do it yourself. Getting rid of knockdown texture. So this is something people would be sick of. How to apply a skim coating drywall techniques and tips. How to use a sponge. Texture on a ceiling repair. So these are super searchable. And again, Paul, you're in a unique niche where most of what you do is going to be heavily dominating in the search. Skim coat applied to walls. Now what? Well, this is actually a question that the user may be asking themselves, so now they're going to be more compelled to click. Skim coat ugly textured walls with a paint roller. So this is something most people have. They want to get those ugly looking walls. So again, the compelling element is Paul is speaking directly to what a user wanting to do these things are wanting to do. Good night, Terry, and I look forward to you coming back. So Hybrid Steel asked a great question. Would it be beneficial for Paul to zoom in more on the hand and the texture? So I would say maybe for this, that'd be a great candidate for A/B testing, Paul, because if you do have a shot of you, like a close-up shot, I'd be curious to see how it does. Now, again, you can test the CTR with this and see how it is, but we do have others where you can kind of test their CTR. However, it depends on what Paul's doing, because like here he's showing it on a wall, whereas this one, I couldn't tell this is a wall, and if I'm looking quickly, if I'm looking for walls specifically, that's something you're going to have to think of as well. Neon RB says hello. Welcome. Prefer to spend money on places where I can get true value like VidSummit, VidCon over YT Space. YT Space is free to go into, so seeing a lot of misconceptions on the YouTube space here. So that is something I would say. But again, it's free if you meet the requirements to get it. At least the one in LA. Because some of them may be. But again, Paul, looking here, I'm going to check your most popular because I do know you have your popular uploads. How to repair, again, for beginners. While I'm a beginner, I may not be super comfortable in this, so I like how you're talking to me as a beginner. And if I'm an intermediate or expert, I may not be as compelled to click on it. Just 8.8. If you have the minimum requirements to get into the YouTube space, you can get in for free. The YouTube space has on their website what you need. No more dust from drywall repairs, DIY drywall repairs. So again, people who have dust from drywall repairs, Paul's solution, the compelling bit is there's going to be no more if you watch this. So that's something that is super awesome. So what I would say, Paul, is you're really compelling. I would check and test. I just said chest, so don't worry. Don't chest your videos. But I would take what Hybrid said into consideration. Congratulations, David 3000 on 46 subscribers. And I would kind of see, and based on your results for videos that are performed in the past, remember that all videos you shoot in the YT space must be approved before release. Absolutely true. If you first do unlocking the space to even get there. But overall, I see a lot of things you're doing well. I'd say it's pretty much going to be down to, are you focusing on that compelling part, which, Paul, you really are. Based on that, based on looking at your videos for compelling, I think that's actually something you've done really well. And I'm not sure if that's been an active effort or that's something that you just happen to do naturally, but either way, great job. I'm going to give you a solid A. So congratulations on that, Paul. And while I down Paul's channel, I'm going to pull up Neil. And again, that compelling part, super important. Because I'm sure you may have, if you've ever ranked in search before, it's great that you're ranking in search, but if you're not getting people to be compelled to click through based on your thumbnail and title, it doesn't matter that you show up in the search if people aren't watching the content. That's something you need to consider. Hybrid Steel says, I need 10K to get into the London space. That's super fair. RPM says, yeah, I know YT Space is free, but I would travel just for VidSummit for more information driven. VidSummit is probably my favorite conference of the year just for the data and information you get. Also, the access to brands you get is insane. Like last year, Amazon was there answering questions, making deals with creators. Like, go to VidSummit if you can afford it. If you can't, maybe plan on saving up for next year's. VidSummit is an amazing event. I see some things here. Yes, I need to A/B test more at least. At least I already have that. 2 Buddy Legend. Congratulations, Paul, on that. Yes, you do. Hi, Andrew. Is it okay to do the title in English and Spanish? It will get better chances on the search. So con mucho sabor. That's a great question that the person at YouTube search at VidCon who I got to speak with, that was actually a question asked by one of the educators. And the answer that she gave was simply, what kind of audience are you trying to build? A Spanish-speaking one or an English-speaking one? It only works for one or the other. So that's a choice you as a creator needs to make. If you're doing all your videos in Spanish, then maybe target that Spanish-speaking audience. If you're doing it for a more broader audience, which is English, maybe you should focus on the English side. So as we were told by her, she said that most of the time, creators, if you're doing, example, a Spanish video in Spanish, but you title in English, then the English viewer won't understand and will be upset and click away. So it's, again, what audience are you trying to build? Neil is not counting down Vid Summit. Vid Summit's going to be a ball this year. Just 88 says VidCon seems fun and a great place to collab with other creators. It is fun to collab with other creators. Depends the bag policy, if I'm honest. As someone who worked there as an exhibitor, who had lots of film gear that we tried to get in, it was an absolute nightmare. I saw people even following their bag policy get turned away. So just 88, it's a great conference. It's a lot of fun. If you're trying to do collabs, I'd recommend having a small portable solution because VidCon was not playing when it came down to their bag policy. So that's something I'd keep in mind. Hybrid Steel says VidCons is for fans. Vid Summit is learning. Actually, this year on the industry level, they actually had some really decent speaking, but it still kind of pales in comparison to Vid Summit. So they are stepping it up. I'll give them credit where it's due. 88 days till, oh God, 88 days till Vid Summit. I gotta get. Speaking of getting ready, I see an immediate change from Neil Crypto Cruising. I see Niminati certified. 100% fresh Niminati certification. So I guess, Neil, what we'll do, looking here, is Facebook grilled by the financial services. That's really, I'm not sure if this is a live stream, so Coinbase tutorial, change an account setup. This, I would say, streams, I don't usually look for the super compelling point, as you can see by my terribly optimized live streams on the channel. But more importantly, welcome, Spicy. I would say when it comes to Coinbase tutorial, exchange and account setup, is this for beginners, experts, intermediate? Is this a free thing? Again, think of those ways to compel. I definitely like the account setup for, okay, well, here we are for beginners, right? Where is it in your title? Yes, they can see it here, but when it comes to search, one thing I might say is maybe instead of just this blue, because it kind of blends, maybe you try like this yellowish orange color that you have in the Bitcoin here to make it stand out a little bit more, that for beginners. Welcome, Old Geezers Gaming. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. I also would say that you do have the compelling bit here. So again, that's where the thumbnail and title kind of come into play. Regard, you're not certified, you're part. So that's something I would say there. Looking here, top 5 reasons for buying crypto. So you have top 5 reasons for buying crypto. Again, the blue kind of blends, and as I zoom out, it's a little more difficult to read. So maybe keep that kind of cryptocurrency color. Yeah, see what I did there, crypto. But even like you have in your banner, that's just another way to get that to pop against your background. I do like how you have the 5. So top 5 reasons to buy cryptocurrency, maybe for a compelling element, is overnight millionaire ? Or why you won't be the next Bill Gates, or something more compelling. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. Again, you know what the video is about. My views are going down faster than a paid lady of, well, maybe when you get that person to tie your shoes, you shouldn't pay for them. I'll tie your shoes for free, Neil. So again, I'd say look at a lot of the reasons I would say here is you have a pretty searchable things. Top 5 reasons to buy cryptocurrency. And then maybe you can make another one, top 5 reasons not to buy cryptocurrency. Why should I not buy it? It'd be really interesting, especially with your channel name, to see why you're telling me not to buy it. And then you can backlink back and forth to the coins. Welcome, Doug Houston, UYT. Great to see you, Doug. Congratulations on your recent subscriber. That's something I'd keep in mind. As I look here, explain what is Digitech. So this one, super compelling, is the what is it? And then your Bitcoin, you go Bitcoin Futures Exchange, 42 coin. What is 42 coin? Super interesting as well. The compelling part is you're literally answering it. And so again, the more I'd see here, it's that compelling element, because you do have some of them in your thumbnails, but maybe they're too difficult to see. Maybe they're a little hard to read. So that is something to keep in mind. Spicy says, could you add my channels to the list of reviews? Absolutely. Added to the queue. Again, if you are interested in a channel review, just a friendly reminder that super chat reviews get priority. So what I would also say for you, Neil, is your top 5 privacy coins. If you're going to do like a top 5 privacy coins, something you could do like follow up. If you ever do one on like a top 5, make an immediate follow up, so there's like a follow through for YouTube to better help support and push content to your channel. Heck, you could honestly, if you're going to do a top 5, what I'd recommend is maybe like sprinkle some videos within that series a bit beforehand. Then when you do that top 5, you can backlink to your own channel. I see from Zavi, I know you did a review on me previously, but I love the one on the SEO side as well as a look at the banner I'm most in need of. Okay, Zavi, if we don't have your chats and whatnot, you are added to the queue right after Spicy and the free reviews. So as we continue here, have you tried experimenting as well, Neil, with just some different colors on your banner? Because like I see most of the time it's that blue and white, and I see that like here on the Facebook you have like a stroke effect here with some white matching kind of the logo. I'd really be curious to see what would happen if you kind of change up the colors just a little bit. Like I like your banner and I like your backdrop, but I'd say that sometimes it's hard to read. So that's kind of something I'd keep in mind. So with that, what I would say is you do a really good job on the search, but I'd say on the compelling side, I'd give you a C. I know that you could get that up. So for that, that'd be where I am there. Neil, I see from Leela. Oh, I did for Leela. And I'm asking, I didn't know I had to ask for a review. So go ahead and add me to the queue. You are added. Did I get more? Did you get more? What, Neil? Did I get more than Peck? So Paul Peck by accident just kind of has really good SEO. I'm not sure if that's on purpose, but I gave Paul an A, so you're at a C. Welcome, Lindsay Hazel. Good to see you. So I'm going to go ahead and check out Spicy content. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at the overall channel, since I've never seen it before. So the first thing I would say is I see Spicy. I can tell this is Harry Potter, but I have no idea who you are, what you're uploading, when you upload, and why should I be compelled to hit this little button right now? Or more importantly, maybe join. Because if I'm new to this channel, which I am, none of those things are answered. So the first thing I do is go here. Then I see HP Wizards Unite is now live. Beta episode 1. Well, this is 3 months ago. The beta's probably been out for a while. Okay. Then I see how to get more spell energy in Wizards Unite. Well, that's super searchable, but is it compelling? Is this a free way to do it? Is it fast? Is it going to save me time by doing this? Again, with a compelling... Ooh, Paul Peck's coming back saying... Paul Peck said, my titles are not by accident. Paul is doing in that work. So, I see that you have a Harry Potter Wizard Unite vlog series. I would say don't forget you get a playlist description and utilize that. That is super important, especially for terms of this coming up. Art. Wizards Unite 101. again, a description can go a long way, and I see that you just have the one video, but even then, describe what your intentions are with this playlist. So if I'm a new user and I click on it, I know kind of what to expect. So looking here at your Harry Potter's Unite series, this is super searchable, but the rest, you can switch professions. Episode 2 is already here, so if I'm a user, I can kind of clearly see it there. You can also put that in your tags, but I wouldn't recommend it in your title. Possible Wizards Unite Plus. Again, something good to know. I would keep your HP Wizards Unite in it, the titles, because if I'm a new user and I, let's say, find you here, then knowing that this is a series I can go from the start and watch is super important. Hello, Kurhat Sang Palat. Welcome from Indonesia. I know all I know about Indonesia is how to say bahasa, which is language. I know kucing, which is cat. That's about it. I learn more, but that's all I know. So, welcome Magic and Metal, who is bringing you both the Magic and Metal. What a perfect channel to have a person with that amazing name here on. Okay, thanks. I've recently been putting Wizards Unite in the title. Another thing is, if you're going to do Wizards Unite 101, I would first do some research with a tool such as TubeBuddy, or even just by doing search. Of course, I'm going to use TubeBuddy because I'm biased, but at least I will own up to my bias. So, Wizards Unite logs. I'll just type that in, seeing if there's any search. There's a lot of videos, but there's not that many search. You might show up for this. This one is actually super compelling because not only are they playing Wizards Unite, but they're in Harry Potter world, so there's that. Major updates. So just kind of looking at the vlogs, you do show up number 9 your whole channel, which means that having that playlist is actually doing you wonders. But Spicy, the problem is because it's not that well optimized for other things, and it's not telling me more with the description, you're not showing up higher. So that's actually a great thing to consider. So that is something I would say. Sorry for not being as present. It's almost 1 a.m., so I'm mostly listening. No worries. Thank you for joining us this late. Spicy, again, you got to think of those new users because a lot of this isn't that explained for me as a newer user. I'd also create a recent uploads using your channel name and maybe most popular name. So like Spicy's most recent uploads, stay up to date on everything when it comes to the wizarding world of Harry Potter, or something around there that would compel users to click that playlist. Your vlog series is good because it's super hyper focused on Wizards Unite, but there could be a little bit more there you do. And again, this first one, like, is now live, episode 1. You probably, like, this is probably super searchable, so you got really good there. Now you have a lot of other content. So what I'd say is, when you're doing content like this, focus on the search and compelling aspect. So that's what I'd say there. Overall, I'd say channel isn't bad, but there are some things I see that could be better. I'm going to give you, based on like search, you did well. The compelling aspect is there on some of them, but sometimes search isn't. I'd give a C, because all the things I want in your channel banner aren't there. There's not that clear of playlists and descriptions here, so this is more of a channel review. You do have some compelling elements, but I would like to see a little bit more. So with that, hopefully, Spicy, you find that helpful. And there's a lot here that is good, and I can tell that you found a clear audience, but it's making it easier for, 1, your audience to watch your content easily, and 2, for new people who don't know you, they can know who you are, what you're uploading, when you're uploading, and why they should subscribe to you. Why should I subscribe to Spicy? Tell me those things in that banner, and you've gotten a lot better. Okay, awesome, thanks. Everyone in the chat, be sure to hit that like and share the stream out. It says Gear Vlogs. Thank you, everyone who's been watching thus far. It is greatly and so here we are. Zevi asked for a comeback. All right, can he do better? Will he do better? World will find out in just a moment. So, all right, let me just quickly pull this up. Seeing more people in this chat. Super insightful will make those changes. I also forgot to like the stream, so I'm one of those people who didn't like. Go figure, huh? But here we are. We are back for a second round here. I love TubeBuddy. That is awesome. That makes me happy to hear. Ooh, I got a B-, hoping for a better score. Well, we are grading for different things. So, time to see. How compelling are you? I've put this off too long. Transition. So, early game PvP starting on MTS. 3-man PvP. Crazy Raid Loot, MTS, beginner servers. So, Crazy Raid Loot is a compelling part. I'm assuming the MTS beginner servers. OP. Back on Smalls, official small tribes, Ark Survival. So the searchable element is there as well. Ark Survival evolved solo small tribes. Definitely a lot better in dedicated playlists. I would say maybe creating this most recent upload so when people are looking for you, it comes up more in. Paul says, Andrew Can is so compelling. I appreciate that blatant lie, Paul. Thank you. VidCon was awesome, Spicy, and I have a video coming out very soon about my experience at VidCon, and I think there are a lot of questions people. Looking out here, though, starting out on the Gentleman's Ark and Sneaky Wrapped early game Tames, solo duo PvP, Peligor Ark Survival, how to play solo, Zabby's Guide, how to play solo. I would say this one isn't that well optimized for search. How to play solo on Ark Survival Evolved Zavi's Guide, maybe. But even then, the Zavi's Guide is putting a lot of. The Zavi part here is putting too much stake in your name, where more people are going to be searching for the game than possibly your name. So that's something to keep. Hello, Fit Mama Tata. Great to see you here as well. So that's something, again, when it comes to these things, that's something you've got to keep in mind, is that more people are likely to be searching for Ark than you personally. But I will say the banner, I love it a lot. I see a character, Ark Survival Evolved, weekly uploads, read up the why, subscribe for what? I'm assuming weekly uploads, but that's not really a compelling reason. Subscribe for more is more so for you. If you're like subscribe to get better at Ark, then ooh, something I want to do, and I like the content, and it fits with what you're offering. So again, always think of what a user would be thinking when it comes to this. Looking here, I want more compelling reasons. Hard Knocks TV, that is a great question. I don't know the conversion for that, but I can find out in just a bit for you. Finally, it let me ask. Now, again, all I would say here when it comes to these things, where to find, this is actually super compelling, where they spawn. I might recommend making this a little bit brighter because it's a little dark. And again, the X being in the corner, your logo will always be kind of cut off by this timestamp. That's something you need to out. Yeah, I need to think like a viewer more. Again, I find a lot of us are bad at that, because one thing that I find, and I've been realizing, is I'm so focused on search that I forget that it's great to show up in search, but if I don't compel them, find a way to be more compelling. It doesn't matter if I show up in search because they're not compelled to watch. But you actually have really good thumbnails, and again, it's part title, part thumbnail, so you have a really good chance there. But that compelling element, that's what you got to think of, and that's where thinking more like a viewer, like what compels you to click, matters. So it is time. It's time to go ahead and check this out. I'm gonna give you a based on what I'm seeing, a B. It's an improvement, but where I'd like to see more, I'm seeing these that have too high of a focus of your own name. I'm seeing more playlists, but I would like to see, you know, that recent uploads for you. I'd like to get more of a reason why I should subscribe. But again, this looks amazing. It's a lot better than the first time I saw it. And The only reason it's a B and not like an A, if this is just a straight up channel review with no compelling aspect, you'd probably be at an A. But when it comes down to focusing on the compelling side, that's something to keep in mind. So that is where I would say there. Hard Knocks, I'd also recommend if you want Legend. Have you had a TubeBuddy trial yet? If not, go to tubebuddy.com/free trial. So that's what I'd also recommend there. But again, be very, very solid, Savvy. Again, you did well. It's those little things. And again, you got me when I was doing them on channel and compelling aspect. And I've seen your channel before, so I have that. So that's some good doodling, says Nick Niman. Nick, I thought you would be on a plane by now, or at least flapping your arms very hard back to Thailand. Everyone, Nick, great to see you here. Thank you so much for joining us. Not sure how long you've been here, Nick Niman, but I've been talking about things I learned on. Savvy says, yay, an improvement. I need to improve some parts of the banner, some video titles, and recent upload playlists, and more little things. Thanks a lot. Of course. On phone, so can't tag. That's a question I wish, it wouldn't make sense to ask as a YouTube search girl, but I should have asked if I could talk to someone who works on YouTube mobile. When are we getting a new creator studio? When can I tag people on mobile? I'm in Taiwan transit. So, my stream health seems to be fine. Thanks, Andrew, for review. I've got to go for food, but see you in the next video. See you then, Spicy. So, in the meantime, I saw another person was asking for a channel review if you'd like. So, in the meantime, I'm going to take a look at Lila. I'm going to go with Lila. So, here we are. Lila, you're giving me filmmaking tutorials and vlogs, do videos every week. So, I know what they're doing, but you don't answer why I should subscribe. I know when, too, but why should I subscribe? I don't necessarily know. Yes, you're making filmmaking tutorials and vlogs, and I know they're every week, but I don't know why I should hit this button. So that's something I'd consider. And again, you have a lot of the empty space here, so even if you don't put it over here, I'd maybe utilize a little bit more of this. I'd maybe saying subscribe today, or subscribe to be better at filmmaking every week or something like that, because new videos every week tells me when. But again, give me a compelling reason to subscribe. I can see you're a professional, or in the very least this looks very professional, just kind of looking. So looking at your title here, how to copy yourself in video, easy clone tutorial. Is this a video about an easy clone tutorial, or is this how to copy? I know it's how to copy yourself in video, but you gotta remember, how are people going to be searching for that? I like the how to be confident, but you put 10 tips. Again, it seems a bit of confusion. So my question is, are you researching? What are your things? I think your thumbnails are good, but the search, your channel is going to rely heavily on search. And if not, at the very least search, it's going to rely on being suggested. So I can tell kind of a follow through here, just looking, is video editing, obviously the filmmaking tutorials and vlogs. But beginner guide for camera and video making, I get what you said, filmmaking tutorials and vlogs. So you also offer beginner's guide for camera and video making. So again, you're telling me there's filmmaking tutorials and vlogs. So the first thing I'd say is put your name, recent uploads, so you get some traction if anyone searches for you. Again, there's a lot of little things that I would keep in mind that aren't being displayed here. And that's something I'd have to say, like this one, color grading basics for beginner, because these shots all look so similar. I get what you're for, but it's hard to make out what's going on. And while I know there is a great, you know, the difference between grading correction, your thumbnail is almost too busy here. And it seems like there's a lack of balance between both the search and the compelling. Because sometimes you go too much for compelling and not enough for search, and vice versa. What is a histogram? Great question. How to get the right exposure? Compelling. So this one is great. What is a histogram? How to get the right exposure? So you're asking a searchable question. This is a searchable bit. How to get the right exposure is the more compelling bit. I might go to how to always, so it's a compelling thing, or how to easily, or how to quickly, or how to freely. Again, think of those things that compel us as humans. What is a histogram? How to get the right exposure and save time. Think about how a user who's never heard of a histogram might be searching for it. Or if they just heard about a histogram, why should they click your video? All things to consider. Best video frame rate for YouTube, FPS explained. So, best video frame rate for YouTube. Let's take a look at this one. This one, I can tell just by looking here, you have good lighting. I'm curious why you didn't do a backlight or maybe a backsplash here, but this is just me getting nitpicky. Since Nick Nim is in the chat, I put Nick. If you make titles more compelling, doesn't that make your titles less searchable? So, not necessarily. As I said earlier, it is focusing on the searchable part first. So this is I'll go back to your channel in just a bit here. In fact, I'll do it. What is a histogram is super searchable. How to get the right exposure is the compelling part. So that's what I would say there. Here, I can't believe this happened. Start believing in yourself. Super compelling, but there's no search. How to be less awkward on camera is the searchable part. 10 tips for new YouTubers 2019. 10 tips. How to be less awkward on camera. 10 tips to try today is a lot more compelling, and it's keeping your ideal. Because the part that is searchable is how to be less awkward on camera. Again, what is a histogram? Searchable. But the compelling is either sometimes there, but sometimes it isn't. Beginner smartphone cinematography B-roll tips. So, smartphone cinematography B-roll tips for beginners. Layla, and that's where we're at, right? Like, it's what I learned from YouTube, and as I've been saying this whole thing, it's your title first and foremost needs to be searchable. But if you're not getting the views, if you're showing up in search and people aren't clicking, it's a combination of your thumbnails and your title. Are they compelled? And that's kind of the question. Now, I do think this thumbnail is great, but the searchable bit would be smartphone cinematography B-roll tips for beginners. And then you put the basics. So is this smartphone cinematography B-roll tips the basics for beginners? I mean, like, where's the focus? And this video comparatively seems to do the best, and that's because it has a really clear focus. Showing only a histogram instead of being abstract would be something worth testing on that one. Couldn't agree. How to white balance. I like this one a little bit more than this one because I can actually see kind of changes. The how-to is a little... White balance explained. Auto versus manual white balance. So looking here, my question would be white balance explained, just seeing how where you show up in search. Importance, white balance video, auto white balance versus manual. I mean, I would take a look at how many people are searching for this, number of videos. It's got fair, show up. It's a decent thumbnail. And again, I think your lighting, right? It's one of those things where I would say always focus on that compelling side as well, because white balance explained, great. Auto versus manual white. I don't necessarily. The way YouTube is going to read this is they read through the dash. So this just reads as white balance explained, auto versus manual. So this is literally your whole title, but dash. How to get better color in your video, or something that compels you to click. That's what I'm not necessarily seeing. Welcome Flash in your pan and junk. Wait for it. FPV and M Gart. That channel is talking to you about is a no-go, but I love that dark wall background. It looks so good. I definitely agree. I like the contrast. The contrast is here. I like the plant that adds a splash of green. Don't make talking. again, I can tell you know what you're doing on the filmmaking side. Where I'm seeing a disconnect in what YouTube is looking for is you're sometimes searchable and sometimes compelling, but you always need to be searchable and compelling. It needs to be both, because at your current size, some larger YouTubers can get away with just being compelling, but at the smaller you are, the more search you're going to rely on search, because YouTube doesn't have other content to help push against it. Not as much per se. Hello, Prev. Right. Correct. But if I had to go here, I'm seeing a lot of good like thumbnail ideas and design, but I'm seeing kind of a disconnect. Again, another thing is beginner's guide for camera and video making. I'd make a description here. I'd put a Premiere Pro tutorials. What about them? What's the compelling reason to click on this playlist? It stems past just your videos and titles. They need to be everywhere. I'm not seeing it. So the more I don't see it, the more I wish it was there, because you're so close. But you got to think. One thing Peter McKenna did very well is he was accidentally searching but super compelling. Accidentally searchable but actually very compelling. You are very compelling but not that searchable. Not all the time. And it's those misses that I'm seeing. Hello, Nomadic Bike. Great to see you. So those combination is what really matters. Nomadic Bike sent you, so thank you. Ralph, welcome. 2 videos that given? Must be some damn good videos. So, that being said, it's time for a grade. Based on what I'm seeing, you have a really, really good channel. Just based on, like, I could tell you know what you're doing on the filmmaking side, but when it comes to the YouTube side, I'm lacking. I'm going to give you a C- because your thumbnail game is strong, but I'm not sure if it's connecting. There's a lot here that could help you better. And again, you're in a similar niche to myself, so I know that's a hard one because there's a lot of competition, but it's that compelling part that you're missing. So C- is still a passing grade, and I know you could easily get that up. Let me know what you would give anyone in the grades in the live chat below. We are getting more and more people. Thank you to everyone who has shared. Thank you everyone watching. If you would like a channel review, super chats always take the priority, but we are open to some more free reviews. I'm actually super excited. We've been getting some unique channels here, and I'm really happy with everything that we've been getting. Is there a raid taking place, says Nick Nimmin? Possibly. It could be the Nick Nimmin magic, also known as the Niminati. Tag Niminati. I'm not wearing my shirt today. I should have. I had it. I looked at it. Almost didn't. Another thing I would say is, if you are a part of the Niminati, represent with that hashtag. And I'm not just saying that for the more engagement. Bike raid? Thanks, Andrew. I'll definitely work on it. Gold. Happy to help. And again, I think you have a great channel. If you'd ever like to collab, send me a DM on Twitter. Actually, now that I have all this new information from VidCon, there's 3 videos I need to make. First, one on sound blankets. Sound and / moving blanket. Teasing that for too long. My audience is polled. I know. Second, I need to focus on being more compelling with the titles, because I'm gathering data as we speak to see how not having a compelling element may be hurting channels. And then third, I just gotta come back. VidCon, making a film about it. Excited. So, if I'm not seeing anyone who is interested in a channel review, Caleb beat you to that yesterday. Well, you know, Vigard, I've been working on it for a while. Caleb Pike, DSLR video shooter. He has a lot of good content, but he's not the only one making it. So, one thing he's good at is compelling. Search. That's where I reign. So that's actually, people ask me, how do you do so well in competitive videos? It's find a reason to be searchable and compelling. I now know. But we'll take a yodel. Review away, says Rorick. Please review Nomadic Bike. First, I'm pulling up Ralph. And then Nomadic, since I'm seeing a lot of people here from Nomadic Bike, I'm Nomadic Bike raid for it. Our channel. But I did see Ralph. That is who I will pull. And we will transition. Hello, good morning from Habitude Buddy user here. Welcome, Ian. Happy to have you. I also think I missed some, so I don't want to miss them. It was my Indonesian viewer. I know what the words are, but if I could pronounce them, not at all. So, in the meantime, yeah, I ended my stream and I sent them here. Well, thank you, Nomadic. I do appreciate it. That being said, let's go ahead and take a look at Ralph. So, the first thing I see is a cool logo, but I have no idea. I see who, so I see who. I have no idea what you're doing. I don't know when you're doing it. I don't know why I should care. So all of those are missing from just your banner. And this is just from seeing it here. I see that you have an uploads playlist, so you are definitely a step above just that. But don't forget, you get a description for this one too, so make sure you're using it. Looking down here, I see that you do metal castings, but that's something where I would love to see it here. But it's something I don't necessarily see here. Midnight Madness 4x4, good night, Mike says. So good night, Mike. Assuming that's Mike Van Doozy. As I look here, you say you're working on it still. That's good. These are all things just to work on then. Metal casting, brass lion, casting. Oh, I would say the searchable bit might be the golden brass lion. Oh, and then selling part. Failed superheroes made from old pewter tin. I'm seeing for you, it's always, and this goes to any channel, it's finding ways to be searchable. Scrapyard run, cables to cash. How to turn cables to cash in this scrapyard run. So the searchable bit could be how to turn cables to cash, and then the scrapyard run is the afterthought, because it seems like it's the name of this playlist, which would be more towards a user than it would be that. For some reason, I don't like the black bar on every thumbnail. Vigard says it might be due to the fact that your brain wants two of them, Vigard, because we've been taught for so long. So many familiar faces. Happy to have a lot of new faces in the chat. Popular uploads, again, similar. I do see that you took the time to make your name for your uploads, but maybe do it for your popular ones too, so you can get that search. Again, you have 894 people that are subscribed, but a lot of the times when it comes to search and being, it's going to be more for those new users that don't know who we are. Again, what our data shows is more and more people find us, never have heard of us before, and to our core audience, it's great that they know who we are, but we have to remember, if they didn't know who we are, how do we present ourselves? Ralph's channel is awesome, is what I'm seeing in chat, but without watching the videos, it's set up decent, but I don't know a lot to know more. Fan mail 02. It's cool that you do fan mail. I would maybe tie it more into your name for the people searching for you, so they know, and those are really kind of for those super fans. As I look a little bit more, 1 week of dumpster diving in my apartment building. This is super compelling, but is it searchable? So this isn't one that I'm not compelled to click or learn more. I feel the same. So again, you're getting kind of real-time feedback that there is no compelling reason to click or do more as new users. And again, if we're not into this hobby, which I'm not personally, so it's hard for me to say, but you have to remember, if a new user is here, you got to give them reasons to click, because you haven't made it that easy for us to just kind of see and explore. And there's no channel trailer, so without a channel trailer, I'd say, I always tell people this: if you don't have a channel trailer, put a video in the meantime that best represents what your channel is, because that is something you need to think about. And I could see that a lot of people here know you, but it's, again, for those people that don't know you, those people who have no idea who you are, that really matters. So overall, I see a lot that is done well here. Just from like understanding playlists, you have custom thumbnails. I can tell who it is quickly. I'd say focus a little bit more on searchable, and that because you have a good amount of compelling, but the search is lacking. So you first need to be searchable, then compelling. So I'd focus on that. Overall, I'd give you probably another C- here, because you are ahead of kind of some other things I've seen. There is some room for improvement. But overall, it's, again, understanding that there are different niches, or niches, depending on how you say it. I honestly am a firm believer of niche, because I like to say life's a niche. Because if you get that, good for you. That's for me. Going back, though, very good. So Nomadic Bike just ended a stream and rated us here. So it is time to check it out. Also, your channel sounds like it is the perfect channel for my girlfriend's dad, who's like super into fat biking, super into biking and bike travel. So you might just have a new subscriber there. Nomadic Bike. Ralph says, thanks for the info. Thank you for letting me look at your channel. I'll have to say that to people. One thing looking up here, buckle up intro. Not that searchable. Looking here, I know who it is. I love this logo. I have no idea. Besides, I know, I can tell it's about bike because it's in the name, but what about biking? I see who it is, but I don't necessarily know what kind of content you're making. And I don't know why you should. Nomadic Bike. Biking for your best life. Or something like that. I don't know when you're live. I don't know these things. I do like how the compass has a bike tire. I think that's very clever. But again, more of those questions. I get questions that don't have answers. So looking here, I see that you did your chat and this is your stream. You seem to be streaming a lot, which is good. Videos I made when starting out, just my phone and edit. So that's actually really interesting, especially if they're fans of your channel, which you do have 1,500 people. That's really good. So that's cool for those users who want to see more of your older content. One thing I'd keep in mind is, since you do have this, I would create those custom custom thumbnails, and second, those custom playlists, right? Because like if I want to look up your content specifically, I would love Nomadic Bike recent uploads, and then because you stream, maybe Nomadic Bike recent streams, so you have a place for those too. And overall, what I'm sure I'm probably going to see is maybe in your about section, yes, you're going to have a lot about, hello, I'm Nomadic Bike. I live van life. Van life is only part of my channel. It's about my YouTube family and outdoors fun without having much money. That's super compelling, but it's not here. It's hidden in the about section. Put it more here because it's interesting. I'd love to see more. Was blind says, so everyone is an expert now, so it seems, nickel and dime. Knowing what titles are searchable is a bit confusing for me. So if you want to know if your titles are searchable, you can use TubeBuddy's Keyword Explorer to research them. If you're making a video, for example, biking, right? So there's multiple times. If I just type in biking, TubeBuddy's Keyword Explorer is going to show me biking solo, biking with Bobo. Like, we're going to see biking music, biking to work, biking. We're going to see other things. We're going to see biking fails. We're going to see there's a lot of searches, but what are the results, right? Biking. It's a song. It's probably going to be the first result that most people are looking for. So biking. So biking, if we type in some more, biking in, you can see some more in the city, in Chicago, in New York City, in San Francisco, and snow, biking in Utah, right? Maybe that's Utah national parks. It's mountain biking, dirt biking. We're seeing a little bit more the more specific we get. If we type in here, biking Utah, there's a lot of video results. It has some high search volume. So biking in Utah, I wasn't ready for biking. If we look here, so again, the searchable bit is kind of based on what you research. Regard, notice biking in the hood, which is one too. Nickel and Dime said it's called subscribing to his channel. That's great, but a new user has no reason to be compelled to subscribe to the channel. I also see people saying that everyone is a YouTube expert nowadays, so if you want to know my credentials, I can tell you. So I work for TubeBuddy, the #1 rated browser extension. I've helped some brands such as Pepsi, Family Feud, things of that nature. Again, new people to the channel, you always have to see what I'm doing here. What you have no reason to be compelled to believe me just on what you're seeing. So I'm compelling you and I'm educating you on what I've done. So I'm not saying that Nomadic Bike is bad. I'm not saying that his channel is bad. Clearly 1.5 thousand subscribers have hit the button. But there are other ways you can get more subscribers, and that's kind of what I'm trying to show here. Bagard says, I'm a pro. So I appreciate that, Bagard. And again, it's all just, these are things that you can take for what they are. You don't have to do it, but it was asked to be reviewed. Again, seeing here, I can tell that you know what you're doing when it comes to the space, but if you want to grow that extra bit and get that newer people in, it's those things to focus. So with that, I would say just kind of keep focusing on what you're doing well, because clearly it's getting people to come and turn over, but also focus on the people that don't know who you are and find ways to compel them to hit this button, because that's how you're going to grow. And even if you don't grow here, maybe you'll get memberships, or you can focus them on your Patreon, because you have a unique lifestyle and there's a lot of info about what you're doing, but it's kind of hidden. The main thing is it's not easily to see. So overall, I think you have some really good branding. I think you have some good logos. I think that you clearly have a lot doing well. Like, I do keep these up for replay. Thank you, Mgart. And Nomadic Bikes is totally listening. So based on that, I see a lot that you're doing well. I can kind of tell that you are reading things based, or at least that's what it looks like. Again, take this for what you will. Videos I made when starting out with just phone and no way to edit. Again, there are so many editing softwares out there. So there's KineMaster if you still only have your phone. I see that you're using Wondershare Filmora. There's also things such as Adobe Premiere Rush, where you can edit 3 videos for free. But again, people here are saying that they love your content, Nomadic Bike. So you clearly have a great audience and they're engaged. So for you, it's going to be engaging past that initial audience that matters. So for you, what I would say is work on those things. And as you're getting better and as you keep improving, so will your audience. And you obviously have a very dedicated audience. And everyone who came over from Nomadic Bike, thank you. So with that, I think that's actually going to be it for the stream today. I would like to thank everyone who came by, everyone who checked it out. Thank you so much, Nomadic Bike, for the raid. Remember, on YouTube, it is so much more than just the search. It is being searchable and compelling. It does matter. Remember, I'm Andrew Can. If I can, and too.